Oh, Big D here to talk NFC North. Before I tell you what I think is going to happen, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports page. We can not only see all these streams, but see all the videos I upload from the Big D podcast. Speaking of that, we'll be back soon with more episodes. Also, check out the Big D podcast for the audio listener on Spotify and Apple. So, obviously, the NFC North has gone through changes the last few years. I mean, whoever thought that Aaron Rodgers would end up in New York and all Devontae Adams would end up in Vegas, all the changes. But this has become, I think, what maybe not dominant division, but more wide open division the past couple years. I don't think there's one dominant team, but we'll see what happens this year. Start with the first team, the Minnesota Vikings. Last year, the Minnesota Vikings were a popular pick to not just make the playoffs, but unseat the Packers. First off, Kirk Cousins finally got an offensive mind head coach after Mike Zimmer, a defensive mind coach, had been in Minnesota. Secondly, we saw the emergence of Justin Jefferson. I mean, last year, Justin Jefferson came darn close to breaking Calvin Johnson receiving yard single season receiving yard record. So we know what Justin Jefferson can do. And last year, Kirk Cousins played some of the best football of his career. Now, was part of it having the best or one of the best receivers in football. Was part of that the scheme? Perhaps, but it looked like Kirk Cousins was more himself. He looked more composed. He playing more consistent football, more reliable football. Now, true, Minnesota's defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, but the Vikings last year were really efficient, really productive offensively, and it also seemed like Minnesota's offense added something with the acquisition of T.J. Hawkinson because Errol Smith was going to be the number one tight end. He went down, so Hawkinson became that number one tight end and became a huge focal point because now instead of sitting on just Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Minnesota's got another weapon. So now teams are like, what do we do? So that's going to be such a fun trio. If you play best ball, trust me, Cousins, Hawkinson, and Jefferson would be a stack I try and get. And also, the Vikings added Jordan Addison. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. My head is going to be on fire watching the Vikings this year. But Jordan Addison feels like a really productive wide receiver, really good route runner. Not the best 40 time and true. He dealt with some injuries last year for USC, but I think he's got a ton of potential, especially in that offense. I look forward to seeing what he can do. This year, you imagine Cousins, Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. Minnesota's offense is going to throw the ball and throw the ball a lot. Now, there is one change for Minnesota's offense. No, Dalvin Cook no longer there. Minnesota cut him a week or so ago, so we'll see if Alexander Madison's ready to become the lead guy. I mean, I don't know if he is because he's dealt with injuries. Now, true, Dalvin Cook might not have been what he was last year. He's dealt with some injuries. But getting rid of a 1,000-yard back is worrisome. And last year, Minnesota's defense gave up a boatload of points. The Vikings found themselves in a ton of shootouts. Now, secondly, Minnesota also went 11-0 in one possession games. 11-0. I'm just saying. In 2021, Minnesota couldn't win one possession games. Last year, they won all the one possession games until the wild card round. So, obviously, a great season, won the division, but then the playoffs didn't end well with, I wouldn't say a bad game, but a disappointing loss to the Giants. Obviously, that fourth down pass to Hawkinson ruffled a few feathers in Minnesota by Kirk Cousins. Threw the ball short of the marker. Why the Vikings didn't get Jefferson more involved, but I really like this team, especially offensively. True, you wondered if this is Cousins last year. He's already in his mid 30s. There are even rumors that the Vikings could trade Daniil Hunter. So I think they traded Smith too. So I mean, it is going to be an interesting team to watch this year. So don't forget KJ Osborne. I mean, no Darius Smith, potentially even no Daniil Hunter. So this is a team that's in transition on defense. I mean, I think it's going to be a fascinating team. Team's going to put up a lot of points. Will Minnesota go 11-1 possession games this year? No, that's not going to happen. Will Minnesota be the favorite to win the NFC North? We'll see. Next team, the Detroit Lions. Boy, the Detroit Lions was so much fun to watch second half of last year. It seemed like every week Amon-Ra St. Brown was making somebody miss in the open field. I mean, that guy is so much fun to watch. And last year, everybody thought, well, Jared Goff's done. He can't play. He can only play with Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay. Did just fine. I mean, you go into Lambeau week 18 and beat Aaron Rodgers when it's 20 degrees, not bad. Jared Goff last year was their top 10 quarterback. I love the Lions offensive line. They've got one of the best offensive lines in football. Two bookend star tackles, an emerging star in Amon-Ra St. Brown. Obviously, Jameson Williams suspended, so didn't really see him much anyway because of the torn ACL in the 2021 national title game against Georgia. And then, obviously, big change at running back with Jamal Williams leaving, and then David Montgomery coming from the Bears. So Jamal Williams scored 8 on the touchdowns last year. You got him in best ball. You did some really good business, but I think Monty will be similar, a little younger than Williams, maybe a better pass catcher. It's going to be interesting. And then obviously everybody looked at Detroit's draft, especially its first rounders, getting Jameer Gibbs at number 12, and then Campbell, the linebacker from Iowa. I mean, it's not a surprise the Lions took Jameer Gibbs. I mean, a lot of people thought the Lions could take a running back, whether it be B. John if he would have been there, or Gibbs at 12, probably a little earlier. Then I take a running back, but I think Gibbs, especially as a PPR back, would be really interesting. And unlike a lot of Alabama guys, Gibbs doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on those legs. So you've seen what Alvin Kamara did with the Saints, CMC did with the Panthers, or some of these other twitchy running backs. I think Gibbs could be that next PPR running back. And then defensively, yeah, we all love what Aiden Hutchinson did as a rookie last year. I mean, did the Yeah, the Lions had a son in the corner. So do the Lions have enough cornerbacks right now? I think so. Are they going to be? Can they stop the run? Can somebody besides Ian Hutchinson get after the quarterback? We'll see. But to me, despite a less than the draft, I did like Detroit getting Laporta. And then I believe they got Branch, the defensive back from, yeah, drafted to defend the defensive back from Alabama. Also took Hendon Hooker, and I think that's a good spot for Hooker. Playing a dome, I don't think we're going to see Hooker play this year. Jared Goff's the top 10 quarterback. But if golf becomes too expensive, maybe Hooker's. I don't expect Hooker to have a long career because he's already in his mid 20s, but he might be that third, fourth round quarterback capable of playing if need be. And obviously, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you're looking at week one playing the Kansas City Chiefs in prime time to open up the 2023 NFL season. I don't remember a Lions season with as much anticipation going back to the Barry Sanders days. And I mean, you imagine what Barry Sanders could have done with this offensive line and Amon-Ra St. Brown. He might still be running for 2,000 yards. Yeah, the Lions have got a couple primetime games this year, not just week one against the Chiefs, but the Raiders week 8, and then, of course, week 17, that Saturday night game, New Year's Eve weekend against the Cowboys. So the Lions are going to be on primetime, and be honest, I don't see anything why they shouldn't be on primetime. A lot of fun last year, and will be a lot of fun this year. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Green Bay Packers finished third in the NFC North. I mean, Green Bay Packers didn't win the NFC North last year. That's a bit of a surprise, but no, last year did not start well for the Packers and really didn't go well in general. I mean, obviously, for the first time in 30 plus years, neither Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers will start for Green Bay on opening day. This is Jordan Love's team. Green Bay finally moved off Rodgers, so I don't know what to say about Jordan Love. I don't like his upside. I mean, this is year full for Love, and I know Pack fans will think about Aaron Rodgers still in year full, but Aaron Rodgers is a far more talented quarterback. Could run, throw the ball. He just needed an opportunity. Jordan Love still does not look like even a middle, if not middle quarterback. I think Jordan Love, to be honest, is a below average quarterback. Yeah, I love Green Bay's weapons. I like Matt LaFleur as a coach. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs with the young tight end from Oregon State, Luke Musgrave, but together with some really good pieces on defense, Jair Alexander. But I don't believe this Packer team is a division winner. In fact, even in the NFC, I don't believe the Packers are a playoff team. I might be crazy, but I don't. I think Green Bay could battle the Bears for last place because in a quarterback-driven league, the Packers win from 30 years of Super Bowl of maybe not Super Bowls, but Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers to a below-average quarterback. Yeah, they've got great weapons. They've got a really clever offensive mind coach. But Jordan Love's not a franchise quarterback, especially in an era with Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Allen, Lawrence, Hurts, Lamar. The Packers went from here to here. And last year, even Aaron Rodgers struggled early in the year. You imagine what Jordan Love's going to do after teams get footage on him. He's going to be probably. I mean, could he be the NFC's version of Ryan Tannehill? Maybe, perhaps, but I don't think he's a great quarterback. And I think Green Bay is a 6-7 win team potentially. Actually, I mean, at best, maybe an 8-9 win team, but I think Green Bay's battling for last place. And then the Bears. Obviously, the Bears got the #1 pick, traded that to Carolina. So the Bears didn't go after Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or Anthony Richardson. Kept Justin Fields, added DJ Moore, added a bunch of guys in free agency. The Bears are going to be a very interesting team this year because they've got an extra one from Carolina. So if Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback, the Bears won't have to worry about one in the 2024 draft. But no matter what Chicago's record is this year, if Justin Fields is not a franchise quarterback, the Bears are going to be in the Caleb Williams Drake May sweepstakes. They've got all this ammo because of the Bryce Young move. Justin Fields feels like he's trapped. I feel like Justin Fields' problem is that the Bears are a defense mind team. They keep getting these defense mind coaches, and you imagine what Justin Fields would do with with one of these young offense mind coaches. Yeah. I imagine what Justin Fields would do if Kyle Shannon was head coach or Doug Peterson. You imagine Justin Fields in San Francisco? Oof. He'd be the perfect quarterback. Can bootleg, strong, make the throw, make all the throws. Be the perfect quarterback in that West Coast in that bootleg system. Plus his running ability. I mean, trust me, Dolphin fans are still probably seeing Justin Fields run past their defense. But I mean, the Bears' offense should be better this year. Add DJ Moore, top 15, 20 wide receiver. Get him. The defense should be better, especially in the division where there are good quarterbacks, but there's not any, I would say, Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks. And plus, I mean, if you look at the Bears did draft Darnell Wright at 10, probably a little higher than I would want, but really like the Sean Johnson, Tyler Scott picks later on. I don't know why the Bears keep drafting so many defensive players, but that's a story for another day. But I think it's going to be an interesting team. Could the Bears be a 7-8 win team? Perhaps, but I think Chicago and Green Bay are going to be battling for the cellar in the NFC North. I can't believe it. The Bears and Packers could be battling for last place. And be honest, I think this division is going to come down to the last couple of weeks of the season because the Lions and Vikings play each other 2 of the last 3 weeks. The Vikings host Detroit week 16, where Detroit hosts the Vikings week 18. It's an interesting oddity in the schedule. I think that looking it up here. Yeah, the Vikings end with 5 of the last 6 games at home. The only road game is week 15 at the Bengals because week 12 is the home game, Monday night game against the Bears. Week 14 is at Las Vegas, a dome. 16 and 17, both in Minneapolis against the Lions and Packers, and in Week 18's road game in Detroit, a dome. So Minnesota did get a scheduling break, but yeah, it's not easy to play Burrow at all, but do get to finish with a lot of home games. So other than that game, maybe in Cincinnati, should be some good weather opportunities for the Vikings this year. And then if you look at the Lions, I mean, you think, well, depending on what happens, control the NFC North and then beat the Vikings 2 of the last 3 times, and it's all division. So, to be perfectly honest, I think Detroit wins this division. Right now, Minnesota's second, and then Green Bay, Chicago battling for the other 2 places. I think this is a division where the change will happen. And the Detroit Lions look like the best team. Less than a stellar draft, but I really like the momentum. Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, Amon-Ra St. Brown have done. If Aiden Hudson takes another step forward this year, look at. So thanks for tuning into this NFC North stream, and we'll be back with more content later.